Okay, as usual, I prepare this for different groups. Okay, so there are some structures that may sound familiar to you because we've done them recently, and some are familiar to other groups. Okay, but most of these appear in like at B2 level. Most of these are for B2. Okay, so you should have done it already, but still try to do them orally through practice, and then carefully look at the explanations. Okay, or listen to the explanations and look at the answers. Okay, so it's your responsibility to correct it. Okay, I don't correct, I just check that you've done it. I don't correct it because then I send this video. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So too busy to this, the people in the B group, too busy to do something. Okay, you've just seen this in unit 7, I think. Okay, the huge rise of the rise. I've seen this one with, I don't remember which group. The rise and fall of something. No, the rise and fall. So the rise of something is something becomes popular. Increasingly common. Okay, you have an adjective, you need another. You're all practicing this. So from increase, you need the adjective, and then you add ly. So I said this recently. From many verbs, you get the adjective and it's ing or ed. Obviously there are more endings, but this is a common one, no? Like boring, interesting, etc. Okay, adverb, adjective. Whether, if you wrote with, it's correct. Okay, it's correct to write if. Okay, when you have an indirect question, tell me if you are coming, tell me whether you are coming. Not always can you use whether and if. Sometimes you can only use whether, and sometimes you can only use with. How? This is typical. Okay, question words in this exercise. Now, I can write it, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to tell you. Part 2, the one with the gaps. Part 1, part 3, part 2, part 2. The same as this one. This. Okay, rather than, instead of speaking, this appears in a test for the B2. There's a book with tests. This appeared 2 or 3 times. Okay, so rather than, instead of, rather than, or better than, but you can say instead then. So this would be part 1. Even though, could be 2, but even if is a condition. This appears in unit 9 of the B2 book. Okay, even if is, or unit 10 is an alternative to if, means that it doesn't matter what happens, this is going to happen. Okay, I always take an umbrella even if it's not going to rain. So it's not going to rain, it's okay, I always take the umbrella. So they prefer to text even if they are in the same room. Okay, here you are emphasizing it. It's like, even if it doesn't rain, I always take an umbrella. So I'm emphasizing that even in that case. So even if they were in the same room, they would still prefer to text, even in that case. Okay, this is for emphasis. So this doesn't change whether they're in the same room or not. Doesn't change anything. Find out. I put it because I wanted to write this. Okay, you find out has appeared many times. So it's understandable. This is in the placement test. From understand, understandable. So it can be understood. This ending is that something can be done. From science, scientist. The neuro is because it was there. Okay, but science, scientist. Notice this as is tal y como here. As has lots of meanings. I have included these words, so I didn't want to leave a gap here too. As I've told you many times, tal y como. Okay, so again, change. So again, try to do it orally, and when you have it, you change. And when you change, oh, I change. I have 2 documents. Okay, when you're done, you press play again. Okay, so stop it. Literally, notice that this is 6 words. In the advanced and the C1, you have 6 words. So anyway, I emphasized it so that you realize that it's 6 words, but in the B2 is 5. Ready? 3, 2, 1. So notice over, especially the ones reading Bridget Jones, over. Oh, to prioritize something, over. So over has different meanings apart from like over the rainbow. Over the rainbow. Sobre, por encima del arco iris. So you prioritize something over. Okay, I prioritize my son over my daughter because I prefer boys. It's a joke. Okay, I try not to prioritize anyone over anyone else. Okay, so you have a noun. You need a noun. The noun from depth. Okay, like length, depth, strength. These are words that you need to know. So again, this is part 3. Misunderstand. So again, this is very typical. Misunderstand, part 3. Okay, so you need a verb. It's easy to do something, and you already have a verb, so you need a negative verb. So emotional thing, you need an adjective for the noun. I think you had this in unit 2. You had this. Okay, from emotion, the adjective emotional is part 3. Notice the spelling of aggressive. If you don't realize, you'll make a mistake, probably with the G. I could have put this, from aggression, aggressive. I've put it before in podcasts. But notice the spelling. Now, from soft, you need a verb. I can't do something. So this is not so common, but I've included a couple of verbs. Sometimes you have verbs. Okay, you can't. Soften, from soft, soften, widen, lengthen, strengthen. You have strengthen in the placement test. Soften, notice that the T is not pronounced. Okay, like listen, you don't pronounce the T. Listen, soften. Depending on that, you've just had that in the C1 people in the progress test. You have this, I think, depending on, like rely on. So this is part 2. Part 3, part 2, miss out on. This was in the last podcast, on 2 podcasts ago. You miss out on something, te pierdes algo. Miss out on something. It's true that you could say miss something, but this is like more colloquial, like meet up with friends. You can say meet friends, but meet up with friends, let's meet up. It's more common when people are speaking. So this will be part 2. This is part 1, despite plus a noun structure. We've seen this, for example, people from the big group at night. You've just done this. Page 84, you had despite the high salary. So despite its convenience. So despite plus a noun. However is full stop, however, comma, in spite of. Okay? In spite of its convenience, in spite of is the same as despite. And although it is convenient, so although goes with a sentence, which means the subject and the verb, although it is convenient. So this is part 1. Part 4, the only one for part 4 is more difficult to create. So it takes me longer. So I hardly ever include part 4 exercises here. Or sentences. So this is C1 people. I think you had something like this in the last test, or in the last unit. ING, this is a mistake that many people make in writings, okay, like essays or whatever. Running or getting up in the morning is good for you. It is good for you to get up in the morning. Okay, you can start with ING or you can start with it. So this is introductory it. I think the other group has also seen it. 2 groups have seen this recently. Okay, so I think there was only 1 more. No, 2 more. So you do them. Try to. This is in the placement test. 3, 2. Make sure you've done it. 1. So in person, the same as in Spanish. Face to face. In person, face to face appeared too in the podcast. And useful. This was in the placement test. Okay. More useful. You can't say more useless because useless is an extreme adjective. So the only possibility after an adverb, okay, and before a noun is this positive adjective. So this is part 3, part 2. Thank you very much. This is more for the advanced people. I didn't tell you that ones to record the mistakes, but anyway, so I'll be mentioning it. Thank you very much. Bye.